Can't decide and torn between a romantic, comedy, action, or an indie film to watch for the weekend? Well, Golden State Media Concepts Movie Podcast is your ultimate guide to the latest movies. Join Jordan, Keith, and Mariano as the trio dissects what's latest on the blockbusters. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Movie Podcast.
Okay, it's the Golden State Media Concept.
Really? That's your intro? Really, dude?
Is it not good?
Wow. That was horrible, dude.
I like that one, actually. It's funny.
Well, it's recording, so we're good. Everybody, welcome to the Golden State Media Concepts Movie Podcast with me, Jordan, and my other co-host,
Keith and Mariano.
Perfect. That's what I was looking for. Today we're having a beautiful movie episode podcast, I'd like to think. This one could be at least top 5 as far as podcasts we've done. I'm setting it up.
Yeah. You always say stuff like that.
There's no way we can fail now. Okay, so today we're going to be reviewing
Suicide Squad.
And Eye in the Sky.
There you go.
All right, I'm so
That's
excited.
on DVD release, Eye in the Sky. The Suicide Squad, of course, is in the box office right now, in the theaters right now, for your viewing pleasure. Mm-hmm.
Since last year, at least.
Yes.
So you guys want to start on Suicide Squad first?
Of course.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, let's give the people what they want, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So Suicide
It's been working
Squad,
for us so far.
Yeah, is directed by David Ayer.
Yeah.
And he has also directed Fury with Brad Pitt.
Okay.
Sabotage, End of Watch, Street Kings. That's a good flick with Keanu Reeves, actually, and Ving Rhames. And Harsh Times, I believe that's with Christian Bale. So yeah, so he's been around for a while. So
No, he seems like he's got the credentials going for him.
yeah, and he wrote Suicide Squad. He wrote Fury. He wrote Sabotage. He wrote Harsh Times, The End of Watch. He did the screenplay. So basically, he wrote SWAT, Dark Blue, and he wrote Training Day. Okay.
Okay, yeah. So
and he wrote the screenplay for the Fast and Furious. So yeah, he's
veteran action movie director, creator,
writer.
Yeah.
So he's the triple threat: writer, director, producer. So
Well, who's in this movie?
let me see. Of course, Will Smith as Deadshot, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, Jay Hernandez as what is it, El Diablo?
Is that Jay Hernandez?
Yes, it is, bro.
Yeah.
El
What?
Diablo. Yeah. Viola Davis.
It's hard
as
to see with
Amanda
all
Waller.
that tattoos all over him,
Yeah,
right?
He's a
bald.
great actor. Yeah, he's
Yeah, he
blowing up.
is.
He was just in Bad Moms. That's the same guy.
Well, I know who
Yeah.
Jay Hernandez is.
Yeah.
He was
He's blown up.
in Crazy Beautiful way back,
Yeah,
I missed the last episodes we did, and I didn't get to do Bad Moms with you guys. I didn't see it because of that. And
Feel sorry for you, dude. Sucks for you, dude. Sucks
Last
for
night,
you.
I had this. I was thinking, should I go see it or should I get some sleep to do
It's
an episode
dope.
today?
It's dope.
Bad
Yeah.
Moms is dope.
I'm gonna
Yes.
give it a shot.
It's funnier than we thought it was going to be. I was cracking up in the theater, dude.
Well, I don't know if I'm gonna have time with Sausage Party coming out, but I definitely want to check Bad Moms out. You
That
guys
just
sold it on
sounds
me.
wrong.
It's dope. Yeah.
Yeah.
That movie just sounds so wrong.
It does.
I've got a good feeling it's gonna be so right.
Yeah, it just creeps me out a little bit, but hey, it's cool. But yeah, so Suicide Squad, for those who don't know, it's DC Universe, DC comic. Suicide Squad is about a band of supervillains who are forced to act like heroes. They get put out on secret assignments by the government, and if they get caught, the government disavows knowing them. It's that simple. And, Amanda Waller, who's played by Viola Davis, basically is their warden and their chief, their boss.
Good old Viola Davis.
Oh, she's amazing. She's
She
an
really
amazing
is.
actress, dude.
I'm scared of her, even though she's on the TV.
I'm not scared of her at all. I
Like
think
she's
amazing.
just like so tough. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think she was perfect for the role. She did a really good job
she did
at
a great job. Everyone. Jared Leto plays the Joker. He pops up, and you get Ben Affleck popping up as Batman as well. So basically, as I said before, the premise: these are the worst of the worst villains. They get put in maximum security, and it's not Arkham Asylum at all. So it's real jail. So, and they all basically have like life sentences. Some of them have triple life sentences. And Amanda Waller's like, well, if you do this job, we can shave time off your sentence.
Right, for each job.
Yeah. So, and it goes from there. So this is the first type of film that's focused about supervillains. No one has ever done a movie like that before. Not Marvel, Yeah, this is the first film. So
yeah,
this is like
if
Magnificent.
a movie does focus on supervillains, it's about 50% the villain, and then
Yeah,
you've
so
got
it's-
50% Batman.
So this is like Magnificent Seven with supervillains. So, yeah. So, where you guys want to go? Who wants to start first about the film?
Who's feeling it? I guess I can start. I think that
Sure.
I mean, from the little we talked about before, we try to save the conversations for the podcast, but
Right.
I think I probably liked it probably less than you guys did.
Yeah, I think so, because I did like it. It was just not what I expected.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great. It was entertaining. I thought everybody did a great job. And it's definitely, to me, is one of those films where they're giving you the foundation, and they're not getting too heavy with that, but they're giving you enough just to be entertained and to like it, and they're letting you know that there's more to come. That's the feeling I got.
Like they
from
gave
it.
you just enough to enjoy it.
Oh yeah, they were going to have to work pretty hard for me, not to like this film. Like I said, the minute I saw Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, I was already hooked, and I knew this was going to be Will Smith's. I hate to say it, but like his comeback film. So, and I felt like it was. I felt like he was I thought he was great as Floyd, as Deadshot. And what people don't realize is that Harley Quinn gets, when you follow along with her comic book character, of course she's in love with the Joker, but she also starts to develop feelings for Deadshot. And you start to see that in the movie.
I kind of gleaned that from the movie.
Yeah, so it played the way it was supposed to play. It really did. So, and Killer Croc was awesome. He had me cracking up.
And Harley Quinn and Deadshot, I approve.
Yeah, me too. So, but yeah, I thought Jared Leto did a great job as the Joker. Especially since everyone's been afraid to touch that role since Heath Ledger, understandably. But like we were saying before this podcast even started, that the Joker is a very fascinating, diverse personality. The Joker doesn't always stay the same, even in the comic book universe. So there's different ways of playing him, and Jared Leto took a different direction from Heath Ledger, and I think it's good, and I look forward to seeing where he goes from there, but I liked what he did. So he seems like he might be more of the Killing Joke Joker, and that's fine. Like I said, because even if you watch the animated series with Batman and the Joker, you see a different type of Joker. It's not always the same Joker, not always the same. It's not always Mark Hamill. So there's a psychology behind it. So there's been, so now you've officially seen 3 different Jokers. Cesar Romero from the 60s Batman TV series with Adam West and Burt Ward. Jack Nicholson from the Batman franchise with Tim Burton. And, of course, Heath Ledger from the Chris Nolan franchise with, Christian Bale. And now you've got, so he's the 4th one then, yeah. So now Jared Leto. So I'm looking forward to seeing where he goes with it. But I'm sorry. Go ahead. I can keep on talking.
I think that, and from what I've seen, it seems like Jared Leto's performance of the Joker has been very polarizing as far as fans go. You have people that are, defending his performance with their lives about how great, great of a job he did with it. And you have other people that have their complaints, and both points are very valid. But it comes with the territory of a comic book movie that people are going to be either very upset with it, and at the same time people are going to defend it viciously because there's this source material that's like the Holy Bible when it comes to, and in this instance it's Suicide Squad, and this is something that's very huge, and this is something people have been looking forward to that don't really care for DC Comics, or that do for the last, couple of years now. We've been really looking forward to it, and I got to say that whenever we started this podcast, knowing that we were going to review Suicide Squad was something that made me excited just immediately, and I was kind of disappointed. I was let down from what I was expecting. It was completely different from what I expected, and while that's not necessarily always a bad thing, there were a few parts that just didn't work out for me. They didn't jive well. While there was other parts that I think really worked, like Viola Davis. I really loved her in her part, and I loved Margot Robbie. I think that she did a fun job with it. But things like I felt like it was a movie that mainly as diverse as the cast was, that there wasn't a lot of screen time for people that weren't Will Smith and that weren't Margot Robbie. Which, I mean, Margot Robbie did a fantastic job. I'm not asking for less time for her. It's just that it kind of felt like the movie was really focused. And to me,
Well,
Will
you knew
Smith
that going-
felt like a Will Smith movie.
I disagree with you tremendously. It's like you haven't watched Will Smith's career for these past 10 years. Will Smith is not Will Smith. I mean, Will Smith is actually a great actor. If you look at roles like Ali, you look at Concussion, you look at I Am Legend, you look at The Pursuit of Happiness, Will Smith, he goes in. Will Smith has been guilty of making some bad choices with some movies, like Focus, and The Wild Wild West. But he did a great job.
I loved
in this
Wild
film.
Wild West.
You see, there you go. So even
I
that.
loved Wild Wild West too.
I loved After Earth. So no, to me, I think that's basically really insulting. Actually, I think he was excellent in this film. He did a great job as Deadshot. I liked him a lot. I mean, and when you see him come up against Batman, well, yeah, I enjoyed it.
Well, what did you think, Mariano?
In terms of Will Smith or the movie?
Will Smith and the movie.
Well, Will Smith, first of all, he was one of my favorite things in the movie. Him and Harley Quinn kind of carried the majority of it for me.
And you knew that going in.
Yeah, I did expect that going in. And to go back to the Joker, for him to be different, I knew that going in as well because everyone made that a huge deal before the movie came out. Everyone was talking about how different he looked from Heath Ledger and.
But he had to be.
Of course. No,
Yeah,
I'm not against it. I'm just stating that I was.
I'm not against the Joker.
I went in keenly aware that he's going to be different, whatever he's going to be.
Yeah.
So I wasn't comparing him so much. I just think that I need to see more of him because I couldn't really gauge him.
I thought he was great.
But I didn't see enough to love him.
I thought he was great. I liked the whole I'm in love with this woman. I'm going to break her out no matter what. I loved all of that. I mean, I thought, I'm looking forward to seeing that character just blossom and grow.
I'm looking forward
because it's a whole different world that you got with him. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You're fine. I'm looking more forward to him. I'd be so excited to see a movie in where Harley Quinn has to choose between him and Deadshot and chooses Deadshot.
Well, and you may get that.
I would love
to see that. Get that because it will get to that point eventually.
See
when she gets torn, it will get to that point.
That I would much prefer to see.
Yeah, she's in love with two men who are just kind of monsters. Yeah.
But my
Everybody's
point,
got a type.
I think it'd be so interesting in a movie to see that happen, and then to see how the Joker deals with something like that. That would be interesting.
Exactly,
to see, right?
because this Jared's actually what's brilliant about his performance. He's actually giving you a whole new level of Joker, the same way Heath Ledger did on the opposite end on the other side of that coin. Heath Ledger wasn't in love. Heath Ledger's character was just a psychotic sociopath.
Right.
You're going to get that with the Joker, but you're going to get more. You're going to get, this love-struck psychotic sociopath gangster.
I'll give this to Jared Leto. That Jared Leto, in the past few roles that I've seen him in, he goes in all the way.
Oh yeah,
right.
Oh,
he's a good actor.
Well, they said behind the scenes that he was sending them creepy gifts because he was a method.
Oh yeah,
actor.
I think a big part of I think the big appeal was to see what Jared Leto was going to do with that. I was a bit disappointed I didn't get to see a lot of him in it because I was expecting more Leto.
Well, as I said to you before the podcast too, you can't have too much because then it takes away from the Suicide Squad. It's not the Joker movie.
But
so, I mean, him being in that film was actually just like a nice little bonus because they could have did that film without him at all, keeping it real.
But to be clear, now that we've seen Suicide Squad and it is what it is, I would like to see an extended version with more Joker in it.
I definitely would too.
I'm looking forward to that too.
I'm hoping that they do the director's cut like they did with Batman.
But I disagree with the critics. I think this film was great.
Yeah,
I don't
definitely.
think it was awesome, but I think it was great. I'm going to go watch it again. I loved it.
Yeah, definitely. I think the critics were wrong too. What did they give it? 27%? That's not.
I would gladly watch. I definitely think that was a bit harsh. I would watch it again, but there's some problems I had with it and things I liked. But that being said, we really do need to go to a commercial break.
Okay.
When we come back, we're going to be reviewing Eye in the Sky, and then after that, we're probably going to just be talking about Suicide Squad.
Well,
again.
yeah, and then we have to do the ratings still for it as well.
Yeah.
That's fine.
You guys stay tuned.
Are you looking for help for your fantasy football team? Check out the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. Get today's best advice on who to start, who to sit, even who you should draft. From sleeper picks to red-hot lineups, they got it all covered for you. That's GSMCpodcast.com/fantasy-football-podcast. We'll cover traditional leagues, dynasty, PPR, even IDP leagues. When you need fantasy help, there's just one show to hit up. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back, guys. Golden State Media Concepts movie podcast. We just did Suicide Squad, and I guess now we have to talk about Eye in the Sky.
Yes, and we'll give it the rating for Suicide Squad later on. So we didn't forget. But Eye in the Sky, that's a movie that's on DVD release right now. So we wanted to tell you guys about this film and check it out. Wow, where do we start with this one? This is kind of a heavy film.
This is incredibly heavy.
Yeah, so Eye in the Sky is basically about the American government and the British government and their war on terror. They finally pinpoint a terrorist location, and it's in the small little like desert village town, whatever you want to call it, and they're ready to bomb the crap out of that person. But what they find is this little girl in this village who's selling bread at this table. And she's in the way because she's right in front of the house. So they try everything they can to try to make sure they don't hit her because they don't want any human fatalities. And the movie is just mind-boggling when you watch the bureaucracy of the British government, the American government, United Nations, all of that, and what goes into these decisions, these life or death decisions that are made. So the Eye in the Sky is the drone, it's the bomb. That's what they're talking about. And this movie stars Helen Mirren, who's one of my favorite actresses. She's just phenomenal. She also played Queen Elizabeth, and she's a very good actress. Yeah,
she was even good in Arthur.
Oh yeah,
right?
Oh yeah. So she plays Colonel Catherine Powell.
Never saw Arthur.
It's funny.
Yeah, she's also one of my first memories of hers in Excalibur, where she played Morgana, Arthur's sister, King Arthur's sister. This may be, I believe this is Alan Rickman's last film.
It's the last film where he's actually like in it. He did one voiceover, and that's it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it was good to see him.
He did a good job. Alan Rickman,
he did tremendously.
I forget sometimes just how good of an actor he is.
Yeah, I know.
No, me too. What a movie to go out on. And can I say, I loved this movie. I adored it. I couldn't get enough of this movie whatsoever. It drew me in. I was hooked, and I was like, the movie, it's a very suspenseful movie, and I felt that suspense every minute of it. They did a great job building it up, and they did a great job keeping you invested in what's going on.
Yeah, I liked it too. It was a really good movie. I liked Aaron Paul, and it is kind of hard to describe.
He plays Steve Watts. Go ahead.
Yep, and I like the little bit of like comic relief here and there. But for the most part, it was a very suspenseful movie.
He was great in that film. Now you mentioned he was excellent.
Mm-hmm. Was there comic relief in that film?
Maybe not like on purpose, but they had like some things that I found
small
funny.
Little bits. Yeah, small little bits.
But I feel like I don't even remember that. It was so overshadowed.
Well, between him and the female soldier that he was with.
Yeah.
They had a little banter before everything got serious.
I'm sorry. Go on, Mariano.
Oh, it's okay. And that, that little bit sometimes it was enough for me. Like it was noticeable for me, and I didn't think that anybody else would notice.
Gabriella Pinto, that was her name, the corporal. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to agree with you that just kind of the bureaucracy, just that feeling of like my hands are tied and I know what I need to do, but will I be able to in time? Or, that really made it suspenseful for me because I was like, is this going to work out for them? Or,
well, and this film. Oh, I'm sorry, this film too. So, I don't love this film. I saw this film in the theater actually. I liked the film, but to me, it's just like when I saw Fruitvale Station. I can't watch it again.
Really? Did you?
Because it was too much. It was very. It was intense.
Heavy, so I don't know if I could watch it again immediately. But I liked it enough.
It's not something that I want to entertain company with. It's a good film, and I might buy it, but because of the subject matter and because of that story,
it's heavy. It's definitely a heavy story. But you know what I did love about it was that it did create a divide. It could potentially create a divide in the people that you're watching because. You have to choose between potentially the life of a girl or, potentially the lives of hundreds. And while there's no guarantee that hundreds will die, but it's a chance that you have to take. And They develop the story just enough where I feel like a person that you're sitting next to could think one way, what they're hoping to happen, while you could be thinking a completely different way.
But at the same time, you have to ask yourself, too, do the ends always justify the means?
And which is a big question that this movie presents.
And that's the whole theme of this film. And you have to be careful that you don't embody what you hate.
And also, it's a movie that while people are deciding to, and even if they say, okay, let's do it, the end outweighs the means. Let's take care of this. There's also the people that have to pull the trigger, that have to do this job.
That was one of the best parts of the film.
It adds an extra layer of heaviness. While you understand, even if you think that this has to be done, whether you don't think this has to be done, you don't think, come on, what are you doing, guy? Come on, let's do it. Because the characters do a good job of really showing you how heavy the decision that's being made is. It's a movie that really the characters do a good job of they give you that grief, they give you that stress, they give that to you as well. You can see what it's doing to them, and you can see that this isn't an easy decision. This doesn't feel like, what are you guys doing?
Well, I walked away from this film too, feeling like. It's a philosophy I've always had for a while anyways, that even when you win a war, you lose a war. And I felt that way when I watched this film too. I felt that way watching this film. But it is an excellent film. It was directed well. It was executed well. Everyone played their part very well. It is a riveting story. You're right about that, Jordan. It's there's so many different themes in it, but like I said, for me, and I do recommend people see this at least once. It's worth watching. I just can't.
And I understand where you're coming from, not wanting to see it again, because it is a very heavy subject, and you're going to walk out of this feeling affected.
Yeah, and the little girl was amazing. I mean,
she did a good job. She really sold you beyond the fact that this is a girl's life. She did so well to make you want her to survive on so many other levels.
Yeah, I loved her parents too. I loved her parents.
Her family was great. It really built you up that there was no way this movie was. You knew at some point.
The cast for this movie was so strong.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Even the Somali, the bad guy.
Yeah.
He was the guy from Captain Phillips, and
he was great, but he wasn't. Yeah, but he wasn't the bad guy in this one.
Yeah,
he was great in this, wasn't he?
This movie did a great job, more so than a lot of other war movies that I've seen, to really show you the complications of war, the messiness around it.
Yeah, it's with that in mind that I really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah,
because the bureaucracy, it must be hard to make all this stuff interesting. All the non-physical type stuff, and I think that they did a very good job.
They didn't have that problem at all.
Right. I think that's probably not easy to do, and it was really impressive for me to see.
No, I mean, I agree. This film definitely is about the tough decisions that people have to make, and then how maybe a lot of times most civilians in most of the world doesn't want to know the decisions that are made in order to keep them safe.
Yeah.
So this film definitely goes over that. But yeah, if you're looking for a good, serious drama, I don't even call this a thriller. It's a drama.
I call it a thriller. I'll go a hybrid.
Okay. This is.
I'd say it's definitely suspenseful.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what do you give it, Jordan?
I'm going to say, and I even agree with you saying this. Normally, when I say, and I'm going to give it an 8, I'm going to give it an 8.5 even. 8. Normally, when I say I'm going to give a movie anywhere above an 8, an 8 or above, I'm going to watch that again. I'm not going to be able to watch this movie again for some time, but I'm so glad that I did see it.
Yeah.
And it's just because it's a movie that it comes very heavy-handed. You can't just put this on and be invested.
That's what it is. I'm sorry, you were saying?
You can't just put the movie on and just, if you're paying attention to it.
You're stuck.
You're stuck. You're going to be invested in it.
Oh, yeah.
You can do laundry. You can tune it out. But once you're into this movie, it does create... It presents the stakes in a way that you yourself, you're on the edge of the seat.
And by the way, folks, forgive me. This film is directed by Gavin Hood. He directed this film. He's also directed Ender's Game, Breakout Kings. That's a TV series. Tough Trade, which is a TV movie. X-Men Origins Wolverine, Rendition, Tsotsi. So he's done a few things. He did a great job with this film. Because as you said before, Jordan, it pulls you, and if you start watching, you don't turn away.
Absolutely.
I mean,
not.
the audience it's like you're there with the military, in that conference room, trying to figure out what's going to happen.
We're going to have to go to a break. Before we do, what do you guys think rating wise? And we can kind of get into that when we come back. What do you think, Mariano?
Eye in the Sky, 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. Okay, what about you, Keith?
I didn't love this film, but I like the film. I don't have any complaints with the film. So this might throw you guys, but I'm going to give it a 10.
I can see that. No, I totally I see where you're coming from, because it felt like it
did
felt
everything it was supposed
necessary
to
to
do.
watch. It felt like I'm
not
glad I
surprised, 'cause
saw
it was a
it.
good movie.
Yeah,
It was
did everything
time
it was-
and money well invested when I saw
It did everything it was supposed to do.
Yeah.
So it gets a 10. I don't think I have too many 10s. It gets a 10 for
That-
DVD release. Yeah.
That's great. Okay, so we're going to have to go to a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to do a wrap-up. You guys hang in there, and we'll see you very soon.
Yeah.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. Okay, we just did Eye in the Sky and Suicide Squad.
So we all agree on Eye in the Sky. It's a good film,
It
excellent
was
film.
definitely...
We recommend you guys rent that when you're in the mood for something serious, like a good, as Mariano said, a drama thriller. Check it out. It's definitely food for thought and thought provoking. So
Yeah, no, if you have like a DVD of Keanu and a DVD of Eye in the Sky in your hands and you're trying to decide which one, if you even have to think that, go to Keanu. But this is one of those movies that when you know you're ready for it, you're going to come out of it feeling like, oh, man.
yeah. So
Yeah, this was a surprisingly well done movie.
Surprising
like I
was
said,
a
I
keyword.
didn't love it, but I liked it, and I don't have any complaints with it. I can't. Like I said, that's why I gave it a high rating, because it did everything it was supposed to do.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
It definitely did.
So everyone played their parts well. It was directed very well. The audience was a part of the film.
Yeah.
I mean, when a director can do that, when he or she can pull you in like that, that's good direction. When you feel that way. So, yeah, definitely rent that. So my rating for Suicide Squad. Oh, but before I get to Suicide Squad, so with Eye in the Sky, one thing we forgot to talk about was that, well, we touched on it slightly. The little girl, her parents were great. Her relationship with her father was nice to see. It was very, he's teaching her things on how to read and stuff, but he has to school her about hiding that because of, unfortunately, it looks like in that village, girls aren't supposed to be reading. So it's just
The film does a good job of showing that, giving you value to the girl beyond the fact that she's an innocent human life,
Yes.
and giving value to the family that,
Yeah, so it briefly talks about sexism, basically. I mean, it addresses that a little bit too within this film. So, in a way that was important to watch actually and see. So, yeah. So
Yeah. So yeah, worth seeing on my end.
Yeah, definitely. So
we didn't even get to rating the Suicide Squad.
That's what I was just about
yes.
to say.
I could talk about Eye in the Sky some more, but it'd just be me,
Please
blowing
do.
some more smoke about how much I love it. But Suicide Squad, what did you guys think? What like summarize your thoughts on this?
I was completely entertained. I want to go see it again. So I liked it. I do agree. I think that I would have liked to see more with Killer Croc, but I get the feeling that the DVD is going to give me even more, and it's going to make me love the movie even more than I already do, like it did with Batman vs Superman.
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah, so I already got that feeling because I already liked the film. So, but yeah, I do feel like Killer Croc should have I should have got a backstory on him, but his scenes that he did have were still humorous and interesting to me, so I still enjoyed him, what they showed me of him. So yeah, my rating for this film, I'm going to give it an 8.
An 8? Okay.
Yeah.
So, but you liked Eye in the Sky. You'd say that Eye in the Sky kind of registered more
because
with you.
there were no flaws at all with that film.
Yeah.
Period.
Definitely.
I mean, it gave me what it was supposed to give me. I knew that. I didn't walk away feeling warm and fuzzy, but I wasn't supposed to.
Yeah, yeah.
Same way with Fruitvale Station.
And while Suicide Squad, even if I had my problems with it, I'd be up for watching it again, and
Cool.
I definitely watched it again before High in the Sky, despite me having a better review for it.
Right.
I think I'd give it a 6.5 to a 7 with Suicide Squad.
You gotta make up your mind.
I think
it's gotta be something. It's gotta be one of them.
Yeah, I mean, between there, give me a second to think that while I'm saying the sentence. I think that Suicide Squad, there was some, despite the problems that I kind of felt like, well, I didn't like that part, I didn't like this. When I came out of it, I was still very optimistic, and I was hopeful that the sequel was going to come out and it was going to kind of fix these things that I didn't like with it. I think that they have potential for something that was really great, and they delivered on a lot of ends of it. I understand why people are so angry about it, but I also understand why people, had their grievances with it and didn't,
And people, as the credits are coming up, there's a bonus scene. So
stick around for a couple minutes.
Yeah, just for a couple. It's not at the end, but it's during the credits. So
I don't mean to give someone any accidental advertising here, but I use this app called Run P, and it tells you whenever there's something after the credits. So,
okay.
As somebody that frequently has to pee in the theaters, I find that very helpful.
Don't pee in the theaters, bro.
No. I'm working on it. It's a habit I'm breaking.
No, you don't urinate in the theaters. That's not good. But did you walk away feeling like you were entertained?
I
think entertained by the film.
I think that there were parts I didn't walk away overall feeling like, yeah, that was good. Because there's some movies that, despite having problems, I'm very forgiving about it. If the overall I left feeling like, I just felt like they were on the right track with a few things, and I'm excited to see these characters develop into I feel like they had to give some things out. They had to introduce everybody, and I think the best I can say is I walked out of it feeling like second one is hopefully is going to be better. It's going to be something to watch.
Okay, Mariano.
And there were parts that I genuinely did like.
One thing that I really liked about the movie was that the Marvel movies, I think, you're right, Keith, I don't know if we said this on air, but they do kind of, they're a little, I don't want to say too, not lighthearted isn't the word, but the heroes are a little too perfect.
It's not eye in the sky enough. It's true, though. I mean, you can say that.
But you know what I mean? They're a little too, they're almost, while they're fazed by things, it doesn't have it's just too bright, I don't know, I don't want to say uppity, but these movies, like the Batman versus Superman, and even I really liked the Christopher Nolan Batman movies, even that.
Oh, yeah.
They're a little darker, they're a little more
realistic.
Right, a little more realistic, a little more grounded, I guess.
Like it could happen in real life.
Exactly.
You don't get that from the Marvel films.
Well, not just
They're
that.
They're fun, but you don't get that from those.
Not just that, but that.
I'm sorry, go on.
That there's something that could happen in real life, and these things, if they happened in real life, they would actually affect these people in this way type. That's kind of what I got from the movie.
Yes.
Another thing was,
are you saying that the problem with this is that a lot of people are comparing DC to Marvel when really these are just two different beasts? Like these are two different entities.
I think that people are comparing without realizing.
So you think that Marvel and this is I guess I'm trying to put it in my own words here. What you're saying is that Marvel is kind of set the standard for superhero movies, and despite the fact that DC doesn't really the standard that we kind of go by, our rating system. And despite the fact that DC doesn't really follow that, people feel like that's why it's not a good superhero movie, because it's not a Marvel movie.
Yes, but the thing is that I feel like it's only like that for now because the Marvel movies all started coming out first. But I feel like as DC kind of builds up a few more movies and people get a feel of like, oh, okay, so this is how they're making it. It wasn't just like a mistake when they were going for something else.
Exactly.
Right? So I feel like once they come around, because I will say that I watched Suicide Squad, more than one time. And the first time I saw it, I didn't dislike it. I didn't like it. I was just kind of like, wait, what? So I watched it again, and I was like, oh, okay. And I started watching it again, and it was better. It gets better and better.
See, I can't wait. I'm gonna watch it again this weekend.
Yeah.
Exactly. So,
I'm gonna see Sausage Party this weekend.
I think it just takes some warming up too. But I think that as we get more accustomed to the new DC style, I think that the other movies are only going to get better. And I agree too with what you guys were saying earlier, that they have come this big task of they introduced like 5 or 6 people all at the same time.
Yeah.
And so I can see where it could have got. My only complaint with the movie was it got a little messy at times where like they bounce around too much. I really liked Will Smith and I really liked Margot as Harley Quinn, but then they have like Rick Flag and all these other guys, and I'm like, it gets to be a little much sometimes.
Kind of convoluted, like
like
you've
the lady
added
with a sword, and
that was the thing that I kind of felt like. I felt like at one point they were throwing just darts and seeing which one stuck because there was so many people that they introduced us at one time.
But the reason that I didn't have a problem with that is because of the understanding that this is kind of a setup for a lot of other movies, and I bet those will be good.
I agree, and I agree with everything that you said too, Mariano. Because Marvel films are good. I mean, I enjoy them. I watch all superhero films, period. That's just who I am. And, they give you that fantasy, and it gets a little too, like you said, they're going through issues.
They're a little too perfect.
Exactly. It's a little too perfect. So, and DC's giving you a whole different darkness. They're giving you a dark, gritty, realistic superhero universe.
I like how
it started with the Chris Nolan trilogy with Christian Bale.
Yeah.
And it's evolved with Zack Snyder with Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, and now Suicide Squad. And so so to me, they have accomplished what Marvel has not. They made those superheroes real, like they could be right next door to you.
Yeah, I think Christopher Nolan's Batman was
it's brilliant. That whole trilogy. To me, that's the first consistent superhero trilogy.
One thing I liked more about the Marvel, whenever you're right that they are setting up for a lot more movies. But I think a big problem with it is whenever you're like, say you're cooking something, you can't just throw all ingredients into one pot and then it's going to come out what it needs to be. You kind of prep them up, right? You kind of get this mix together where you have.
True, but
they took their time with Marvel. They put Iron Man in. They let him have his own thing. They let them have it his own thing, and they let the culmination form kind of a little bit more gracefully. Whereas this movie, they literally just threw everything in together.
Well, no, but they didn't throw everything together. This is Suicide Squad. This is a squad of people. This is what you get, and this is the introduction to everybody. So I didn't feel like they threw people together. I felt like, of course, there were going to be some people who didn't get enough attention. But you'll get more of that with the next film. So, I mean, because then the problem becomes, well, now it's getting weighed down because I'm getting too many backstories. So there's a fine line. There's a balance that you have to have between showing me the Joker and Harley Quinn's backstory, Deadshot's backstory, and El Diablo's backstory. How much more can you do without people being like, okay, that's too much? So, I mean, there's a fine line you have to do. I mean, now Avengers did it well, but Avengers doesn't give you a backstory, really. They don't give you a backstory when you watch it. You just go from start to go. I mean, which is fine. So, I mean, I feel like people feel right now that Marvel's winning the fight and they may be winning the battle, but I think DC might win the war.
I don't know if there's any winning or losing when it comes to the war at this point.
Well, because of what DC's doing with their comic book characters.
I think as of right now, Marvel is winning. But again,
they're winning the battle, but I don't think they're going to win the war. Not with this.
I don't know. I mean,
because when people start to catch on to what DC's doing, how real this is getting,
they're going to like it.
They're going to start digging it.
But that was that point that I wanted to kind of reiterate on, was that people, they're not like comparing on purpose. But Marvel is kind of the standard.
I think some of them are. And
well, some of them are
not. I think, So.
Some are, but for the ones that are not, it's just I think they have that idea that Marvel is like, oh, well, this is what a movie should be like. This one isn't like this, therefore it's not a good movie. But the feel of it is actually really good. So I think that when people watch this and get a better taste for it, or maybe even just over time with this movie before the others come out and they watch it again and again, they're like, you know what, this actually was a good movie.
Actually, I'm going to change my rating for Suicide Squad. I'm going to give it a 9.
I'm
going to give it a 9.
I was going to give it a 7.5,
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 9. Yeah,
I'm gonna
Out of
give
10.
it. I have to give it like an 8.5.
That's cool.
Okay,
Yeah.
8.59, and hell, if we're going up 7, so
All right, so and if we're doing the island, I'm going with Suicide Squad. I can't watch Eye in the Sky on the island. I'll shoot myself.
oh god, despite the problems I had with it, of course I can't do that.
Yeah, Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
It's a heavy movie.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Eye in the Sky is a great film. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I can't watch it on the island. I want to hurt myself. I can't do it by myself. No, I can't watch that.
Yeah, Suicide Squad for sure.
Suicide
It's
Squad.
just more entertaining. And it's
Well, guys,
Yeah.
congratulations! This is the longest show we've ever done.
Okay,
Yeah, 39 minutes so far.
all right.
Not
Right
too
on.
bad. So
Okay, well,
I
cool.
guess that's it. We liked I'm a little bit in between there. I kind of had my problems with it, but we all liked Eye in the Sky.
Yes.
Most of us had a lot of positive things to say about Suicide Squad.
Yeah, so 2 out of 3 on Suicide Squad. So, yeah, so I recommend if you haven't gone to see it, find out for yourself. It's a fun film. I enjoyed it, and I can't wait for the sequel, and I can't wait for the hopefully the ultimate edition of that, where I get more footage.
Me too. I want to see more Joker.
Yeah,
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
yeah. So, and I'm looking forward. And Jared Leto, hat off to you. You did a great job. I'm looking forward to your Joker, man. Don't be discouraged. Don't listen to the haters. Do you? So yeah, you did a great job. Everybody did a great job in that film. So, and yeah. So there it is. So, you can find us on GSMCpodcast.com. You can like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on iTunes, follow us on Twitter. Mariano tells me that you can get us on Stitcher, SoundCloud,
Stitcher.
Or yeah,
Google
any
Play.
of those many other
Yes.
podcast listening apps out there.
Yeah, so thank you for listening. We had a great time. We appreciate all of you who do. I'm Keith,
I'm Mariano.
I'm Jordan.
and we'll see you somewhere out in space.
All right.